Hi, this is PR Sundar. Welcome to Pre-Market Report sponsored by taxbuddy.com and finbingo.com. And yesterday the Dow fell as expected. But the point here is that when our market closed, the Dow future was around 400, 500 point down. But on a closing basis, it was a better closing. But Dow was significantly down only, but Nasdaq was, tried to recover. It came in green also in between, and the markets were hugely volatile. It was going up, down, up, down, up, down. But Nasdaq tried to recover, though they closed lower, and it was not significantly lower as expected. So that's why today Asian markets are recovering, and all the Asian markets are higher. And now it turned US futures are also higher. But what is very puzzling is the Singapore Nifty. Yesterday, towards the end of the day, around 3 p.m., Nifty went and broke 15,750. The Nifty future low was 15,740. And then, last 10-15 minutes, there was about 50-60 point recovery. And now today again, about 225 point gap up. Now SGX Nifty indicating 16,000 plus. So this huge gap up, huge gap down, yesterday huge gap down and today huge gap up. So this is killing the traders. And even I'm having undue losses because of this huge gap up and huge gap down. And by looking at all the fundamental things, okay, there is no reason for this huge gap up. And as I always say, I'm not a big fan of huge gap up or huge gap down. That is without any reason. Yesterday's huge gap down, I always say there is a study that says 80% of the time huge gap up will be sold into, 80% of the time huge gap down will be bought into. But yesterday's fall was not bought into. That is because of, the major news flow. Like Target shares fell 25% and US all retail company shares fell. So that is why it is only 80%. It is not 100%. But today gap up, there seems to be no good news. Yesterday the gap down was because of bad news, but today gap up is not because of any good news. So we can say, this kind of gap up will be, at least there will be one pullback. So, like I'm looking to reduce my positions as and when markets go higher, and I'm planning to cut down my positions because of this huge volatility. So for option sellers, huge gap up and huge gap down is always a big problem. And yesterday, looking at the open interest, because the markets were so bearish, it went and tested near the swing low. And then, there was a huge call rating was seen at every strike price. But now this huge gap up is going to give huge MTM loss for those people. So you can see, usually the bear market rallies are very sharp, Bull market rallies, it'll be slowly only going higher, not very, very fast and furious. And, from Monday to Friday, you see the hangama from 15,750 went up to 16,400, again came back to 16,750, all happen in 4 trading sessions. Now again there is a gap up above 16,000. So definitely the fundamentals, look at our rupee. Just 2 months before it was trading around 75 plus, now it is closer to 78, 77 something. And look at the FIA selling, they are aggravating their selling. So FIA selling is there, rupee depreciating, the globally US problems are still there. But this kind of gap up, gap down, is just because of shorts and short sellers, short covering. So today, surely, this huge gap up, some short covering will be there. But I don't think that this gap up can sustain. So again, this is my personal view. So FIAs are still holding 71% short. And so, every time we gap up, we help the FIAs to sell at higher level. And I'm sure, the only 2 things are certain in this market. and one is volatility, the other one is FII selling. So let us see. But by looking at yesterday's market action, though markets were very, very bad and everything fell, somehow I had a feeling that, huge selling only in index heavyweights like HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, ICICI Bank, Reliance, TCS, Infosys, plus all the IT stocks, huge fall, like more than 5 to 6%. But somehow I feel that, auto stocks did well yesterday. Then look at Hero MotoCorp, fell 10-20 rupees only with this kind of a market fall. And Maruti was also not really very bad. So auto stocks seems to be looking good in this market, particularly Hero MotoCorp. So yesterday in the morning, the Nifty was higher above 15,900 because of Reliance. And then later in the day, the Reliance was sold into. And that was one of the main reasons why Nifty broke 15,800 on the downside. So today, auto stocks will be in focus and Reliance will also be in focus. And some stocks, like State Bank of India, they are like oversold. And so those PSU banks may try to recover a bit today. So all in all, I'll be happy. I always say a big trending. I think one day, Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, huge trending of 400 point Nifty on higher side. That happened when the market opened almost flat. Flat means like 40-50 point is okay. But huge trending never happens on a huge gap up or a huge gap down unless it is followed by some good news or bad news. And like Nirmala Sitharaman candle, they say, so that time it was a very big good news. Corporate tax reduced from 30% to 22%. So that even there was a gap up, that should have continued. And yesterday, the gap down also continued because of the nature of the. So if there is a very good news or very bad news, then only the gap up will trend and gap down will trend. Otherwise, there will be some corrections either on the downside or on the upside. So I'm not really convinced about this huge gap up, and let us see what happens. My guess is correct or not by the end of the day. And but it does not mean that the market will have to fall, okay, but at least there will be some intraday selling. And then if that selling is arrested, then it can go higher and it can close above 16,000 also. That possibility is there. But at least there will be one intraday sell-off. So let us see whether my guess works today. And because for the past many days, my guess has been terribly going wrong. So let us see today what happens. Hope you enjoyed watching this video.